Whenever we talk about Zen Buddhism on this show,
Mm.
or really just in pop culture, the vibe is usually so chill.
Right. It's very peaceful. Retreat from the world.
Exactly. It's tea ceremonies, rock
Mhm.
gardens, finding inner peace. It's all very be here now.
And you usually go to a monastery to get away from stress, not to lean into it.
Right. But today we are looking at a set of texts that, well, they sort of take that peaceful philosophy and weaponize it. We're
Hmm.
talking about a Zen monk writing directly to a master samurai, teaching him not how to meditate on a Christian, but how to perfectly efficiently cut someone down in a duel.
It is a jarring contradiction, isn't
It
it?
really is.
The pacifist guiding the killer. But that's the exact paradox we're exploring today. We're doing a deep dive into the unfettered mind by Takuan So,
And just to set the stakes here, Takuan wasn't writing to just any soldier. This was for Yagyu Munenori.
who was, essentially the Dumbledore of Japanese swordsmanship. He was the official sword instructor to the shogun. So let's be clear. This is not abstract theory for a philosophy class. Takuan is giving high-level mental coaching to the man responsible for the martial skill of, the military ruler of Japan. This is life or death advice.
So the mission for this deep dive is to figure out how that even works. How does the void and nothingness of Zen translate into split-second survival?
Yeah.
Because if I'm in a sword fight, I feel like nothingness is the absolute last thing I want in my head. I want a plan. I want a strategy.
And that instinct, that desire for a plan to lock onto a strategy is exactly what Takuan says will get you killed.
Perfect. So everything I know is wrong. Let's get into it.
Sounds good.
The core theme of the book is this search for what he calls immovable wisdom. Now, linguistically immovable, it sounds like a fortress.
Right, like a rock.
You stand your ground, you don't flinch, you're a tank.
And that's the common misinterpretation. If you think immovable means being like a heavy stone, you've already lost the thread. In Takuan's context, if you're like a rock, you're static, you aren't moving. And in a fight, static means dead.
So immovable wisdom doesn't mean standing still.
No, not at all. It means a mind that cannot be moved by distraction but is constantly in motion itself. It's immovable because it never stops long enough for anything to grab it.
It flows.
It flows. It's about not getting stuck.
Okay, that leads us right to the villain of this book. And the bad guy isn't the enemy samurai. The bad guy is a habit of the mind Takuan calls stopping.
Or abiding. Abiding in ignorance, to be precise.
So to abide means to stop.
To dwell, to settle, yes. Takuan argues that the moment your mind stops on anything, you are suffering from this affliction.
Walk me through the combat scenario he uses, because this is where it gets terrifyingly practical.
Okay, picture this. You're facing an opponent. It's a duel. He raises his katana to strike.
Okay.
In that split second, your eyes see the sword. If your mind thinks, oh, look, a sword, or here comes the attack,
Yeah.
your mind has stopped at the image of the sword.
It's like a mental stutter, a freeze frame.
Exactly. It's a glitch. Your mind abides on the enemy's weapon. And while your mind is parked there, admiring or fearing the blade, the enemy's sword keeps moving, and it cuts you.
But he says it's not just the enemy sword, right? We can get stuck on ourselves, too.
Oh, anywhere. You can get stuck anywhere.
Yeah.
If you focus on your own sword and think, I need to angle my block correctly, your mind stops at your own hands.
Or his feet.
If you look at the enemy's feet to check his stance, your mind is taken by his feet.
So if I focus on anything, I lose. This feels like a trap. I mean, if I can't look at his sword, and I can't look at my sword, and I can't look at his feet, where is my mind supposed to go?
That is the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
Takuan says the goal is no sword. You want a mind that flows so freely that it never settles on a single object.
And if it doesn't stop?
It perceives the attack, and the body just responds instantly, without the lag time of conscious thought.
He has that intense line about snatching the spear.
Snatch the spear from the enemy and use it to pierce him.
Yeah.
You can only do that if you aren't mentally obsessing over the fact that there's a spear coming at your face.
You have to treat it like it's just another object in the world.
Almost as if it's an extension of your own body that you can now use.
Okay, so to help Munenori understand this, because you have to remember, he's explaining this to a guy who is used to drilling technique, not philosophy.
Right.
Takuan uses the metaphor of ice and water. This was the real light bulb moment for me.
It's a beautiful analogy. It's so simple. He says the confused mind, the mind that stops and abides, is like ice.
Frozen, solid.
And you can't use a block of ice to wash your hands.
Right.
It's the same substance as water, but because it's congealed in one spot, it loses its function. You can't pour it. It doesn't conform. It's heavy and brittle.
Whereas the right mind,
Is water, liquid water.
Oh.
It flows everywhere. It fills every gap. It moves around obstacles instantly.
yeah,
Taka One says you want your mind to be fluid. If you lock your mind onto a thought like, I must win, or I'm scared, you've just frozen your mind into ice. You've lost your fluidity.
Okay, so I want to challenge this a little bit because I've done some yoga, read some mindfulness stuff, and the advice is almost always center yourself. Put your focus in your core, your belly, the tendon.
That is standard advice in almost every martial art and meditative practice. Ground yourself in the tendon, that point just below the navel.
But Takuan, he hates that idea.
He absolutely dismantles it. He calls it a low-level understanding, almost a training wheel that you have to take off.
But why? Why is centering yourself bad? I thought being grounded was the whole point.
Well, just think about the logic of stopping we just discussed.
Yeah.
If you push your mind down into your lower abdomen to center yourself, where is your mind?
It's up my belly.
Exactly. It is taken by the belly. It is biding there. Takuan argues that if your mind is locked in your abdomen, it isn't in your hands when you need to strike.
Ah.
It isn't in your eyes when you need to perceive.
He talks about travel time, doesn't he?
He does. If your mind is in your belly and you need to move your hand, the mind has to travel from the belly to the hand. And that travel time, however tiny, creates a delay.
So by trying to be centered, I'm actually creating a lag.
You're creating a lag. You are tethering yourself. You're stripping the rest of your body of its immediate intelligence. And Takuan's solution is radical.
Which is,
Put the mind nowhere.
put the mind nowhere. That sounds like a riddle. How can I put it in nowhere?
It follows the water logic. If the mind is nowhere specific, it is effectively everywhere. It permeates the entire body diffusely. If it's not locked in the belly, it's available instantly at the fingertips, the toes, the eyes.
Total systemic availability.
Total diffusion. And it's scary, because we crave that anchor. We want to hold on to something, even if it's just our own belly button. But Takuan is saying that anger is the very thing that drowns you.
This leads us to the concept of speed. But not like athletic speed.
No, not how fast you can run.
We are talking about processing speed. He uses this phrase, the interval into which not even a hair can be entered.
This is the spark and stone concept. It's all about the gap between input and output.
The clapping example he gives is great because everyone's done it.
Yes. He says when you clap your hands and yell, the sound happens instantly. You don't clap, then pause to think, I should probably make a noise now, and then yell.
They're simultaneous.
The action and the result are simultaneous. There is no interval.
Or the flint and steel.
Right. When you strike a stone with steel, the spark appears the moment they touch. The spark doesn't wait around. It doesn't analyze the steel. It just happens. Takuan says a master's mind has to be like that spark, immediate.
And he contrasts this with how a normal person responds to being called. If someone shouts my name, hey, host, my internal monologue just kicks right in. I think, who is that? Is it him? Did I owe him money? Do I want to talk right now? And then I turn around.
That's the affliction of abiding. You are stuck on the who and the why. You're processing. Takuan says the master just answers yes. Instantly. No thought, just response.
In a conversation, that delay is just social awkwardness. In a sword fight.
That hair's breadth of hesitation is where the enemy's blade enters.
He calls this state of no interval the wisdom of all Buddhas. But getting there, that's the hard part. Are we born with this? Do we lose it?
Well, Takuan outlines this learning curve that I think anyone listening will recognize, whether you're learning golf or coding or a new language. It's the circle of mastery.
The 3 stages. I love this because it validates my incompetence in new hobbies.
Okay, so let's look at stage 1. The beginner. You know nothing. You've never held a sword. Your posture is awful. But interestingly, Takuan says the beginner's mind doesn't stop anywhere.
Because they don't know enough to worry.
Exactly. They aren't checking their grip or their footwork because they don't even know they're supposed to. They just whack at things. They're accidentally fluid. It's beginner's luck.
But you can't stay there. You have to learn the skill. So you move to stage 2, the student.
And this is the miserable stage. Now you're learning technique. You're thinking, okay, elbow at 90 degrees, knees bent, breathe in.
Your mind is stopping everywhere.
Everywhere. You're freezing on every single mechanic.
You become the block of ice.
You do. You become stiff, awkward, slow. Takuan says this is the stage where you are most easily defeated. You know more than the beginner, but you perform worse because your mind is just cluttered with rules.
I feel this. It's like when you learn a new language and you're so focused on conjugating the verb that you forget to actually say the sentence.
That is the perfect definition of abiding in technique. But If you keep training for years and years, you reach stage 3, the master.
Oh, this is where it comes full circle.
The technique is completely internalized. You don't think about the grip anymore. The grip just happens. Your mind returns to the state of the beginner. It doesn't stop anywhere.
But now,
Unlike the beginner, the movement is perfect.
to illustrate this no-mind state, Takuan uses an image that I think is my favorite in the whole text. The scarecrow.
It's such a humble image for such a high-level concept, a scarecrow in a field.
And usually if you call someone a scarecrow, it's not a compliment.
No, it means you're flimsy or fake, but look at the function. A scarecrow has no mind, no brain. It's just a figure holding a bow and arrow. It doesn't try to scare the deer. It doesn't want to protect the field. It just is. And yet,
The deer run away. It does the job perfectly.
it fulfills its function without a single thought of self. Takuan says the master is the scarecrow. The hands and feet move, the sword strikes, but there's no ego, no I am doing this inside the head. It's Mushin no mind.
He doubles down on this with the thousand-armed cannon. For listeners who haven't seen this, it's a statue of the goddess of mercy, and she literally has a fan of 1,000 arms around her.
Logistical nightmare, if you think about it. Takuan asks, if the cannon has 1,000 arms, how does she manage them? If her mind stops on the one arm holding a spear,
The other 999 are useless.
instantly they just become useless. She can't coordinate them.
She drops the lotus flower.
Oh, the axe.
She can only use all 1,000 arms effectively because her mind stops at none of them. It's that same diffusion we talked about. If the mind stops on one, the rest fail. If the mind stops on none, all 1,000 function in harmony.
There's that poetic line, if you look at a single red leaf on a tree, you lose sight of the whole tree.
But if you look at nothing, if you just gaze at the tree without focusing on one specific leaf, you see all the leaves. You see the whole picture. So far, we've been talking about mechanics, survival, speed, how to kill efficiently. But about halfway through the source material, the text shifts gears.
It really does.
We move from the mysterious record of immovable wisdom to the second letter, the clear sound of jewels.
This is a crucial pivot. Because Takuan isn't just training a hitman, he's training a leader. And he starts talking about morality and right-mindedness.
How does he distinguish that from just, wanting to survive?
He makes a pretty stark hierarchy. He says, yes, life is precious, we all want to live, but right-mindedness, which we might translate as integrity or moral duty, is actually higher than life.
That's a heavy statement. Integrity is higher than life.
It is. But he's also very cynical about how people actually practice this. He says most people claim they would die for honor, but really they die for desire.
And what does he mean by desire? Greed.
Greed, sure, but also anger, pride. If someone insults you and you draw your sword and get killed, you didn't die for right-mindedness. You died for hot-bloodedness. You died because your ego was bruised.
That's desire.
That's desire. So true right-mindedness is rare.
1 in 1,000, he said.
1 in 1,000. It's staying true to the core of the mind, regardless of the emotional storm you're feeling. And to explain how to wrangle that storm, he brings in the tied cat metaphor.
This one felt very relatable to anyone who has tried to break a bad habit.
So imagine you have a pet cat
Mm-hmm.
and you have a pet sparrow. The cat wants to eat the sparrow. It's instinct.
So you tie the cat up?
Right. You put a leash on it, the sparrow is safe. But the cat isn't free. It's frustrated. It's pulling at the rope. This is that stage 2 of learning all over again.
You're disciplining the mind.
You are constantly catching yourself. Don't get angry. Don't look at the sword. You're micromanaging your own brain. Bad cat, stop it.
Takuan calls this seeking the lost mind. You're dragging it back every time it wanders.
But you can't live like that forever. A master isn't someone who's constantly fighting their own urges. That's exhausting.
So the goal is to untie the cat.
Eventually, yes. If the training is deep enough, you untie the rope. The cat is free to go wherever it wants. But, and this is the key, it has been so thoroughly trained that it no longer wants to catch the sparrow.
It's safe to be free.
Exactly. He calls this losing the mind. You let it go. You trust that the training has rewired your instincts, so you don't need to babysit your own consciousness. You can just be.
Which brings us to the metaphysical climax of the whole text, the Annals of the Sword Taya. This is where we leave the physical realm almost entirely.
We really do. This is the deep end of the pool.
He opens with a statement that sounds just impossible. The enemy does not see me. Now, Takuan isn't claiming he can turn invisible, right?
No, not physically. He's making a distinction between 2 types of self. There's the perceived self, your body, your face, the guy holding a sword. The enemy obviously sees that.
But they don't see the true self.
Right. The original face. It's a Zen term for who you were before your father and the mother were born, before you had a name or a rank or an ego, that pure consciousness. Takuan argues the enemy can cut your flesh, but they cannot cut your true self.
Because it has no form.
It has no abiding place.
Yeah.
And this leads to the sword taya, which is not a physical katana.
You can't buy it at a shop.
No. The sword taya is a metaphor for that innate wisdom, the wisdom we are all born with but bury under layers of ego and fear. He says this psychological sword is complete in everyone. It can cut through anything, harden gems, steel.
But the twist is that the master of this sword doesn't even need to draw it.
The enemy is defeated before they begin, because there's no conflict. If I have no fixed ego to defend, if I'm not abiding in my pride or my fear, there's nothing for you to attack. It's like trying to cut smoke with a knife.
He says the speed of this state is faster than lightning.
Which is a really interesting physics point. He says lightning takes time to travel from the cloud to the ground. There's a transit time, but this wisdom, it's already there.
It doesn't travel.
It just is.
And it ends on this beautiful paradox about the life-giving sword.
Yes. The killing sword versus the life-giving sword. The accomplished man uses the sword not to destroy, but to settle chaos, to give life.
Oh.
But, and this is the hard part for modern ears, when he must kill, he does it with the same complete concentration as when he gives life.
No hesitation, no anger.
No malice, just function, like the scarecrow, like the water. The act is performed perfectly because there's no ego getting in the way.
It's chilling, but also weirdly peaceful. It's the ultimate detachment.
It's total clarity. It removes the burden of the I from the action.
So let's bring this all back down to earth, because most of us listening aren't sword instructors for the Shogun. We're dealing with emails, traffic, difficult bosses. What's the takeaway?
I think the massive insight is that mastery in anything really isn't about adding more. It's not about adding more checklists, more anxiety, more stopping points. It's about removal.
Removing the stickiness.
Exactly. Removing the abiding places. We get stuck on compliments, on insults, on our own mistakes from 5 minutes ago. Takuan is saying, let it flow. Be water, not ice.
Return to that beginner's mind where you aren't overthinking every single step.
And realizing that usually the thing that is standing in your way is you.
Your fixed idea of you.
Precisely. If you are fluid, you can't be broken.
Which leaves us with a final thought to chew on. Takuan suggests that the enemy does not see me because the master has no fixed identity to be seen.
So if you're struggling with a problem right now, a conflict at work, a difficult conversation, a creative block, ask yourself this. Is your mind stopping on a specific detail? Are you stuck on an insult, on a fear of failure, on your own ego?
And if you let go of that abiding place, if you untied the cat, would the solution just appear by itself?
Flow with it and find out.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you next time.